Hi everyone, so I'm Joseph Michael and I want to discuss Destiny 2's Lightfall, which just came out actually within this past week, well, less than 7 days ago on the 28th of February 2023. So I personally started playing it on Tuesday at about 2 p.m., but wasn't able to do much, just did the first mission. And I continued playing once I got back home from work later on that evening. And I actually ended up beating the campaign just yesterday on Saturday evening. And I've only beat it with my Rollock, and I'm currently replaying through the campaign. I beat it first on Classic, and I'm currently replaying it through on Legendary mode, and I'm just on Mission 4. So last night I did Downfall. So far it's going smoothly. I do have experience with Witch Queen's Legendary campaign. Sometimes I do enjoy the challenge. I won't lie, I do wish there were no res tokens, but that's neither here or there. Anywho, so if one is watching this, more than likely you're probably aware about the negative feedback that's surrounding Lightfall. And I do have to say right off the bat, so going into Lightfall, I was not aware about spoilers, but I was aware about the reaction. I was following the reviews in progress on people's reactions on social media. And I did make sure to keep my expectations in check. As an individual who is a fan of Bungie, I did play Halo. I kind of feel like Bungie has a track record of not being able to, uh, what's the word? Not conclude their stories, but rather set up the climaxes in such a way that it feels organic and satisfying. A really clear example of this. I'm not even going to use Halo 2. Most people probably think I'm going to discuss that. Actually, personally, I did enjoy Halo 2's ending, but I did play that when I was young. I think I was in seventh grade when Halo 2 came out. I think sixth or seventh grade. So maybe I was just too not well versed in the acts of literary critical skills to notice how the ending was not great. I loved it personally. It got me really pumped up for Halo 3. But anyways, the example I want to use is Halo 1. When we play Halo 1, I'm a big fan of Halo 1. I think it's a great game. But when we play it, there's not much story within it. The story begins with us being chased, the Pillar of Autumn being chased by the Covenant, and then having to crash land into this alien artifact world. And then in the middle of the campaign, they end up discovering a greater threat, an even greater alien threat than the current alien species that humanity is fighting. And the game ends with the destruction of this Halo ring and with the possibility that the main character may not even be rescued, right? If it wasn't for Halo 2, Halo 1 could have finished conclusively, and if it had, I would argue that it would have a much more neutral ending, not bittersweet, what's the word I'm looking for? Much more stoic ending. It'll leave one feeling both satisfied because they completed the mission, but also feeling a little bit uneasy because, well, the Master Chief, he's lost in space. He's just in a tiny spaceship with this AI construct. I went like this thinking about ghosts, but I'm talking about Halo right now. Anyways, but I think Bungie's always had this history of really telling intriguing stories, but not really doing the best of jobs of setting it up. Excuse me, let me drink some water really quickly. Pardon me. But they don't do the best job of just telling the actual story. And then we could quickly discuss Halo 2. Even with Halo 2, again, I do love it. I think that it has a much better story than Halo 1. But everything kind of comes out of nowhere. I mean, we end up starting the gameplay. No, not starting the gameplay. The second mission of Halo 2 is with the Arbiter, right? Anyways, but coming back to, so being aware about this, I did keep my expectations in check. I know a lot of people really were praising Destiny's Witch Queen, and I did enjoy it too, but I'm not going to lie, I did notice some of the weaker elements of the story, but I still, as a whole, I think it did a really great job of telling Destiny's story and its lore. But again, because of my history going into Lightfall, I was very excited. One could ask my friends and my family, and I was really much looking forward to, well, to experiencing the narrative. But again, at the back of my mind, I was just reminding myself, well, this is Bungie, Joseph. Halo 1, Halo 2, and even Halo 3. Some people were disappointed with the narrative climax of Halo 3. And I'm glad that I did that because despite having all this negative energy surrounding Destiny, Lightfall, I ended up really enjoying the campaign. I do see the negative points that people are pointing out. For example, when I started Mission 3, all of a sudden they're talking, you hear Cyrus over your comms. Guardian, you must protect the radio mass. The radio mass, excuse you, well, what is that? I don't know what that is. They say the radio mass like at least 15, well, maybe I'm exaggerating, but at least 10 times they say that word. And they never explain what the radio mast is. I'm sure one is aware. They never explain what the veil is. They kind of leave inklings. And see, that's the thing with Destiny's lore. I think it does a better job of setting up the world building rather than telling the story. I know I keep saying that. Hopefully, I'm not repeating myself. But that's actually the reason why I play Destiny. It was because of the lore and the world building. If it wasn't because of that facet, I don't think I'll be as invested into Destiny as I currently am. I probably wouldn't be playing it. It's kind of like Warframe. I have played Warframe, but I do know it has a rich lore and a rich history in terms of its narration, but I haven't really. I've tried getting into it, but it's just kind of difficult just because it has a lot of. Well, it's like Destiny has a lot of history. And because of that, it's kind of difficult for me to get behind the concept of those warframes, where I kind of just feel it's a gameplay mechanic. I could imagine feeling that way too if I wasn't as invested in Destiny's world. I'll just be feeling like I'm just a zombie individual who's powered through this big ball in the sky, and that's essentially it, right? But because of the lore, I'm like, no, I'm a risen, I'm a guardian, specifically an Iron Lord. I am the young wolf, right? Those are just elements from the story. I'm a big fan of the Iron Lords. That's probably my favorite lore point from Destiny. Anywho, but so despite the story being lackluster in terms of what are we doing, what's the purpose of the villain, what's the goal of the protagonist, why are we trying to stop the villain? The gameplay of Destiny is through there. Strand, when I first picked up Strand, it was a lot of fun. I was enjoying it. Again, I'm playing as Rolag, so I'm throwing those threads and turning enemies into those Strand balls and picking it up and tossing it towards groups of enemies. That's really fun. With that being said, though, I'm not gonna lie. It's probably just because of muscle memory. I am very much used to grenades, so as I continue picking up Strand, I kind of went through like a roller coaster of emotions with it. First, I loved it, and I was like, oh no, no grenades, what's going on? Then I started enjoying it once I started getting more aspects from the gameplay. But then I realized that I kind of suck with hand coordination. I think it translated to my video gaming. So when they forced me to use the lash, the grapple, I was revealing my crappy hand-eye coordination and just falling to my death a lot, unfortunately. So, so then at that point again, it went down. But by the time I finished towards the end of the campaign, again, I was enjoying it. But then when I actually unlocked Stasis, when I actually unlocked Strand, I'm going to actually give everyone else the cooldown period. That is going to have to be looked into. It is kind of a bummer that I can't just grapple and then grapple again. I think they should have either separated, as others have pointed out, the timer from grappling just for transversal aspects and then grappling as a weapon or as a power aspect against enemies. And also, to be frank, I do wish that they had kept grenades as an ability while using Strand. I understand their perspective why they didn't include that because, again, they're trying to balance the gameplay. But I think it would have been beneficial to maybe long press L1 to activate the grapple, and Stu, when you just tap it, Stu does the grenade. But frankly, or also even like maybe even setting something up with the directional pad, switching the ability. But I can see why they wouldn't do that because that'll be changing the gameplay. And also, as an individual who has played Halo Infinite, it is kind of not as organic when you could use all your abilities at once versus having to select the ability, then use it, then select another one, then use it, and then go back to your original one and then use that one. I'm talking about the armor abilities that the Master Chief or I guess Spartans in general utilize in Infinite. But yeah, I don't know why I keep looking down. I'm just thinking. And also, I do understand the negative. While I do understand the negative feedback surrounding Lightfall, something I cannot get behind is the idea that Lightfall is the worst campaign for Destiny. So I started playing Destiny with Beyond Light. So I kind of started when Destiny first became free on PS Plus before it was free to play in general. I did play up into the bit where one goes to Nessus. I got up to Nessus, but I ended up stopping at that point just because I was playing solo, and at that point I wasn't really a big fan of playing solo games. I much preferred playing those first-person shooters with a cooperative, with a friend or with a partner or a teammate, whatever, right? So fortunately, I stopped playing Destiny. But then when it got free to play and I heard good things about Beyond Light, I got back into it. And I checked out Destiny 1 and I did play that. So my history with Destiny is kind of sporadic, on and off. I did play a little bit of Destiny 1. I bought it used from GameStop and I wanted to check it out for my PS3, but then I returned it because I don't think it's for me. again because I was playing solo. I do regret that. I think I would have probably ended up enjoying it had I kept on playing it, but oh well. At least I'm playing it now. But I know my history isn't as in depth as other individuals, especially as other Destiny YouTubers. But with that being said, Shadowkeep was really boring. I did thankfully get that on sale, but I mean Shadowkeep was essentially it just felt like a lot of MMO aspects of the very bare bones story with the very a superficial narrative that didn't really. It was cool. The ending cutscene was cool to see the witness impersonating you and speaking as you, and the reveal of the pyramid was cool as well. The concept of the nightmares were awesome. But again, it's just the story itself just wasn't completely there. Forsaken was fun, but as others has pointed out, what they're doing a great job with Witch Queen and Beyond Light, they being Bungie, is the mission structure. Forsaken really did feel more like a checklist. One is just going through it in order to complete the story. It was still fun, but each mission just felt the same. It wasn't really different besides for a couple. Like for example, when you had to run away because the throne world is collapsing, or when the sparrow, not the sparrow, but the fallen motorcycles. I forget what they're called. Witch Queen and Lightfall, I think, are doing a great job of the level structure, the mission structure, but I don't think it's the worst campaign. I haven't played Warmind. I have heard horrible things about that, so maybe it is worse than that. But yeah, so no, if one is interested in Lightfall. If it's your first time getting into Destiny, I would recommend just waiting for a sale. That includes Witch Queen, so you could enjoy that and then play through Lightfall. But if one is not returning and they're still a continuing player, I would say pick up Lightfall. If you've been enjoying what's been releasing so far, one has been enjoying the seasonal story, you're more than likely going to be enjoying Lightfall as well. And I think that's a great segue to discuss the seasonal story this season, or for the next couple. Excuse me, that was a hiccup. For the next couple of month and a half or so. So this season started with the release of Lightfall. Obviously, it's going to be ending on May 31st. Yeah, May 31st. And so far, we're still in week 1. Week 2 is not into Tuesday. But so far, the seasonal story is quite enjoyable. I am enjoying the aspect of fighting the war from the home front, so from Earth, having to protect the citizens because apparently the Pyramid Fleet is capturing people. Why I'm enjoying the seasonal story after one has completed Lightfall, I am a bit curious if the witness, so spoilers if you haven't finished Lightfall, make sure one clicks away from this, but I don't understand if the witness has gone through the portal that he has created, that it's a scientific term, not the Dyson sphere, but the, whatever, if one looks into it, they could find the term. I can't recall it right now. But that the portal, the Rosenberg, something like that, portal, whatever, with the pyramid ships and they turn into energy and they go inside of it. The witness is gone, so I'm not sure what the rest of the pyramid ship, what the pyramid fleet is doing. Why are they capturing humans? You would think that they just want to kill them. Maybe they're kind of doing what the Reapers are doing from Mass Effect, and they're converting humans into maybe that's how tormentors are made. I was gonna say maybe they're converting into additional fodder, but I can't think really of any darkness enemies that are like that besides for the Scorn. But the Scorn are kind of a special interest since they're specifically the Fallen and they're created through dark ether. But again, maybe the reveal as the seasonal story plays out, maybe they will reveal why they're capturing people. But the seasonal story is enjoyable. I'm looking forward to Tuesday. And we'll see how it continues through that. I'm not going to lie, so again, spoilers. I am disappointed that Amanda Holiday didn't pass away. So in the beginning cutscene of Lightfall, they show a fire team of Guardians literally being split apart because of the witness. And of course, somehow Amanda Holiday just gets lucky, and her jump ship doesn't become split apart the way that those fire team does. And she only becomes hit and she crash lands. I have a feeling that she might be passing away during this season, and I'm hoping that she will be, because just again, a whole fire team of Guardians facing the witness, they got wiped out, but a regular human being. I know she's a great pilot. I'm not trying to discredit her in that regard, but for a human, and then again for her ship to not break apart, it's just I think if they wanted to go that route, they should have maybe had one of the NPC Guardians survive with her, but. I don't know what story Bungie's trying to tell right now, but I just know they're trying to set everything up for the final shape, which will be releasing sometime next year. Supposedly February 28th of next year, but honestly, it kind of wouldn't surprise me if they postpone it a little bit. I was actually kind of shocked they didn't postpone Lightfall, but we'll see. But yeah, so all in all, again, if one is a returning player, I would recommend waiting for a sale. And if you do wait for a sale, More than likely, they're not going to package Lightfall with Witch Queen. If one is a new player, one doesn't have any of the DLC yet, just wait for the story pack to go on sale. Get that. If one is enjoying it, then move on to Lightfall and the seasonal pass. If one is just interested in Lightfall by itself, I would really recommend just playing with the free to play content for a little bit. And if one is really enjoying the story, then get Lightfall with the seasonal passes. But if one is not enjoying the story, then just go ahead and get the expansion by itself. I mean, pardon me, if one is not enjoying the gameplay, you're not enjoying the gameplay, but you are interested in the story, then just get the expansion by itself. So thanks for listening to my thoughts about Lightfall, Destiny 2 Lightfall. Let me know what you guys thought about it. If you want to have a discussion, a conversation about it, please feel free to send me a message or leave a comment. And eyes up, Guardians. Although the witness is gone, we don't know what it's planning quite yet, right? So make sure your eyes are up there and be ready for whatever's coming towards us. Take care, everyone.